Okay, so the Royal Rumble 2014 just ended about an hour ago. I went to the local wing house down here on Kirkman Road here in Orlando, Florida. Place was packed. This place was going nuts. Now, was the show itself good? We're going to get into that right now. Leave all your thoughts and your comments down below what you guys thought of the show. Okay, so to kick off the whole thing, we get the pre-show. You have the Rose Brothers defending the tag team titles against the New Age Outlaws. The New Age Outlaws win the match. I mean, you have to figure that was going to happen. You know, they're Triple H's buddies. You know, they're coming back. You know, they're big-time stars from, you know, back in the day type of thing. They're going to get that rub. I don't have a problem with this, really. I mean, it's fresh. It's another tag team. Obviously, you know, when they do lose the belts, they're going to put somebody over. I'm pretty sure they're trying to lean towards this Goldust versus Cody Rhodes feud for Mania, which is another reason why they got the belts off of them. You know, Triple H brought them in. You know, they're his buddies. You know, they are talented. You know, I mean, Road Dogg is great on the mic. You know, they were always great at being over, so it wasn't a bad decision really at all. And if they say feud eventually with somebody like the Usos, who are really hot right now, and put them over, then that'll do something amazing for the Usos because they beat a team like the New Age Outlaws. Now, considering the match had, you know, two older guys coming back in at these two veterans, you know, you knew there was going to be some ring rust going on, but overall the match wasn't bad at all. I really can't complain about it. Now for the show itself, first match we get Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt wins, which makes this whole entire feud completely pointless. You know, you have, you know, Bray Wyatt trying to get Daniel Bryan to join them. Daniel Bryan doesn't want to do it, keeps getting his ass beat, finally joins, leaves like a week or two later, and then just loses in the end, just gets his ass beat. You have his two flunkies, you know, get thrown up by the ref when they attempt to interfere in the match. Bryan still loses. I mean, you push that as if, you know, he's going to have no outside help in terms of Bray Wyatt. He doesn't have any of his lackeys at the ringside anymore. Daniel Bryan's the smarter guy. He's going to get the upper hand. And it just didn't happen. So, you know, the story of, you know, the underdog getting decimated for months and does not overcome the impossible odds once again. You know, how much longer can he stay over like this? Now, apparently he has a concussion. This is what I've heard. He suffered it on the old school Raw during that cage match where he turned on Bray Wyatt. So, if this is the case, he shouldn't have been in this match to begin with. They could have prolonged this for the sake of his health. You know, this was stupid. Regardless of Bryan having the concussion or not, they could have played off that as an injury angle and had him off of TV for a while, have him come back, and have him take out Wyatt at WrestleMania or something. Okay, that would have been the smart thing to do. This did him no favors. You know, if this keeps up, I mean, how many more times can he lose and not overcome the impossible odds before people just start to levitate away from him? Now, the match itself was actually entertaining. It wasn't a bad match. It's just that the results of the match were just bad. Okay, Lesnar and Big Show, the timekeeper's an idiot, or the guy that rings the bell. The ref didn't tell him to ring the bell at the start of the match, and Lesnar took out Big Show with a chair. This was actually good in the sense that it made Lesnar look strong. He took out this beast. He did F5 him eventually. He botched the F5, but hell, it's the Big Show. Look how fucking big he is. The fact that they pulled that move off is incredible. You know, you got Lesnar who's going into Mania, obviously. He's going to be a main attraction of Mania. When he comes back, he doesn't tend to win matches, so you need to give him something. So, giving him this win over Big Show, even though, granted, the way he got the win, he still looked powerful against the Big Show. You know, he took out the Big Show. Props to the Big Show. He took a beating with that chair, multiple shots. He had welts all over his back and shit. I mean, credit to the Big Show, you know, where it's due, you know, and making, you know, Brock really look like a beast here. You know, but that's what it needed to look like. You know, this should have been a blowover match where Brock just went out there and just decimated Big Show anyway. He needs that. And that's all this should have been, and that's all it was. So it was good. I can't complain about it. Now, if they do a rematch at Elimination Chamber, which more than likely will happen, I mean, there's no way in hell they're going to let this go. Lesnar better win. He needs the win going into WrestleMania, whoever he's going against. He needs the win going to WrestleMania to look credible. I mean, granted, it's Brock Lesnar, but still. Okay, John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Joy. How many times are we going to see this match? To be quite frank, I was expecting this match just to suck the wind out of me. But as much as I didn't want to see this match, I actually enjoyed it. They went out there. They were doing each other's finishers. I mean, you got to understand, like, I was watching this in a bar full of wrestling fans, and people were marking out for this. It was just freaking incredible. It was like a marquee moment. It's just one of those things that, you know, yeah, you've seen it before, but something you see a lot when you see, you know, so many false finishes, and the false finishes are happening when guys are using their opponent's finishing maneuvers on them. Now, Orton wins the match. Now, it looked like he was going to lose. It looked like he was about to tap out. Then the lights went out, and the Wyatt family came out. And they gave enough of a distraction to give Randy Orton the upper hand. He hits the RKO, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3, end of the match. And then the Wyatts just decimate John Cena. Which brings me back to the match that Daniel Bryan had with Bray Wyatt, because now there's no chance for a rematch. So Bryan never gets his revenge. He never gets the one-up. He never overcomes the odds. We're just going on to the next thing. I mean, what are they going to do? Bray Wyatt versus John Cena at WrestleMania? I mean, seriously, they're not going to make that the main event, are they? It's just not something I want to see. Bray Wyatt versus Cena. We all know Cena's going to bury Bray Wyatt anyway. So it defeats whatever push they're actually giving him. Even though the push was against the wrong guy and Daniel Bryan. So they put Bray Wyatt over Daniel Bryan's beginning screwed out of the championship in most occasions when he was feuding with Orton. Okay, just that whole thing about them not wanting him to be the champion. He kept losing and losing and losing and losing and losing and losing all this time. He never goes over. And they use Bryan at the end of this to put over Bray Wyatt just so he can interfere in the match that Cena had with Orton to set up this, you know, Bray Wyatt versus John Cena feud, which we all know how that's going to end. So what will be the point of even putting Bray Wyatt over Daniel Bryan to begin with right now? Because we all know that Cena's going to bury him. That's exactly what WWE's going to do. Cena does not lose like that. You know, and no disrespect to Bray Wyatt, but is Bray Wyatt versus John Cena a main event match? No. And the sad part of it is, because Cena's in the match, it'll probably end up being the main event. It'll end up being more important than the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. The only bonus that we're getting out of this, at least for me, is that Cena's going to be at the title picture for Mania, which is good, but I just hope he doesn't bury Bray Wyatt. But let's go onward, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the Rumble. I will remember this Rumble for Kofi Kingston. He did some pretty cool stuff in this match. There was a spot where he got caught on the outside, and he got dropped on the guardrail, and he literally jumped from the guardrail to the ring apron. I mean, it was just an amazing spot that he did. You know, what a match. You know, Punk and Rollins were in there since the very beginning. They were the number 1 and the number 2 guys in the match. Punk gets eliminated by Kane when Kane was already eliminated, because Kane's ended up in the match, which looks like they're going to be pushing a Kane-Punk feud, which it looked like they were going for Punk Triple H again. So, I mean, just another curveball there. Are we going to get Kane versus Punk in Mania? I mean, are we going to get Kane versus Punk at Elimination Chamber, and they get, you know, Punk versus Triple H at Mania or something? I don't know. Now, you knew that Batista was coming back, and my guess was Bryan from SummerSlam, you know, onward. I thought he was going to win the Rumble, and he wasn't even in the Rumble match. Jake the Snake Roberts, I'm surprised we didn't see him in the match. Batista wins. is irrelevant. Who cares? The arena was booing the shit out of him, and so was the entire bar because we were all cheering for Roman Reigns. You know, Reigns just was a beast in this match. He took out like 12 dudes. I think he beat Kane's record. Yeah, he beat Kane's record. Kane, I think, has 11. Had the career high with 11, the most in Royal Rumble history, and Reigns beat his record. You know, Reigns and Batista were the last two guys in the match, and when Reigns got eliminated, it was like, what the fuck? You know, they planted the seeds for the Shield turn, even though they said, you know, regardless of what happens, they're going to try to take out each other, but regardless of the Rumble, they're still going to be friends and be a team. But they're further planting the seeds for this face turn for Reigns, which is good. I mean, obviously it's the right direction to go. Is the future of that company at this point. I mean, you know he's going to be big. Batista got booed out the building. I was marking the fuck out. The whole bar was marking the fuck out for Roman Reigns. It was fucking incredible. If anything, he's the star of the show. Period. You know, Kofi put on the spot of the show, but Reigns was the star of the show. He ended up looking the best out of everybody, regardless of him not winning the Rumble. I'm assuming that Orton's going to retain the belt at Elimination Chamber. Everyone he could lose to was involved in something else, or I just don't know. Like, Daniel Bryan, I don't know what's going on with him at this point. He's out of the feud with the Wyatts, but I think he has a concussion from what I understand. You got Cena feuding with the Wyatts. You have Punk feuding with Kane. Who can they get the belt to? You know, and it makes sense to have Orton and Batista feud because they have history. So now I'm not gonna, you know, grade the Rumble itself. You know, the match. It's a 30-man match. I mean, you're not gonna see, you know, a bunch of high risk moves and, you know, a bunch of really powerful maneuvers and just a lot of technical stuff. It's just guys beating each other up, throwing each other out of the ring. You know, you can't expect a great wrestling match in a Rumble match. But the Rumble itself is an entertaining match. I always love the Rumble every year. I always think it's entertaining. I always really enjoy it. So, and I actually enjoyed this pay-per-view. I thought, respectively, the entertainment value of it was very good. I don't agree with some of the booking decisions at the show itself, you know, the way they booked things and the way things went over, but the show itself was very entertaining. I give this show, I'll give it a B+. That's kind of being a little bit too fair. I should be giving it a lower grade just because of the stupid booking decisions they make in the show. There were certain things, like, you know, like Bryan losing and whatnot. They are obviously ending the Bryan feud. Bryan never got the upper hand on anything. Like, they're gonna expect him just to forget about it, and now the Wyatts are gonna go feud with Cena. I mean, there's so much stuff up in the air right now that just is so stupid. But respectively, the entertainment value of this show was very good, and I enjoyed it. So in that retrospective, I'll give the show a good grade. I'll weigh both factors in and just give it a B+, and just to be fair about it. What did you guys think of the show? I did enjoy it. I just thought some of the booking decisions were lousy. But overall, entertainment value, great. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Make a video response, subscribe, thumb it up. You already know what it is. Peace.